everyone, and welcome back to BitCast. Here today on a nice Saturday or Friday, which is when I'm actually filming this, here for episode 7. I'm pretty sure I already said that. But anyway, welcome to episode 7. Today's episode, I don't think will be a long one. I think it will actually be a shorter one because we don't really have that much to talk about this week, but we do have around 5-ish topics, but there's only about 2 or 3 main ones. Either way, yeah. The MacBook Neo came out this week. I That's gonna be something we're gonna talk about later. And Apple's 50th anniversary is coming up, and Tim Cook actually put out a document which we'll talk about later. Those two things are not in the episode theme, but we will be talking about them later. So we can get into the meat of this episode, let's just get started with today's episode theme. Alright, everyone. So, we got the Mario Galaxy Movie Direct 3 slash trailer 3. We also got a new Yoshi and the Mysterious Book trailer and release date, and another overview trailer for Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition. That's the episode theme for my audio listeners. So, yeah, let's just jump in with the Mario Galaxy movie trailer. I will not be showing it in the video version, but I do have a document about it pulled up. I don't want to get copyrighted. Alright, so here we are. The Super Mario Galaxy movie reveals Donald Glover, never heard of him in my life, as the voice of Yoshi and and more. New casting and a star. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, so this is the final trailer. Nintendo has confirmed it. And I did make a video about it, which I go recommend you watch so you can see some snapshots, or you could watch it for yourself. I do have to admit it probably was one of the most boring trailers because I looked back at it and I could tell, okay, there was kind of more to it than I originally thought, but it didn't reveal too much new. It starts off with Peach's castle getting sucked up by a spaceship, just like in Galaxy 1. And it honestly reused a good bit of things. But putting that aside, we did actually get a lot of information. And this trailer kind of went over the entire plot, kind of. So, one new information piece we confirmed that Wart will be in the movie. We saw him in a trailer. So he will be in the movie, which is really interesting. I'm not too familiar of who he is, but he is there, and as we can see right here, Wart will be played by Louis Guzman. Guzman. Again, never heard of this dude, Louis Guzman. I honestly don't watch that many movies. Like, I genuinely don't watch movies a lot. But I will watch this because it's Nintendo and it's Mario. I mean, come on now. Okay. I'm not too familiar on this. I am honestly excited about these new characters. That's one of my most excited things about this movie because I feel like there wasn't that many characters, in the first one. So I'm really excited about this. This movie seems like it's going to be a way bigger movie in the sense that the journey, the adventure taking place in the movie is going to be a lot bigger and more expansive, more places to go, more people to meet. So I'm honestly really excited. We also now know that the voice of Yoshi will be Donald Golver, like I talked about in a little bit ago. Like I said, I don't know who that is. But yeah, and no, they did not confirm if he'll be speaking English. I truly doubt it. I think that'd just be really weird for that to happen, but we shall have to see. So overall, it showed just the overall arching story. Apparently, Bowser Jr. did end up freeing Bowser, and Mario and Luigi have to take him down again because Bowser Jr. freed his father. So that will definitely be interesting. So it sounds like it will be reintegrating the story from the first one, or I guess continuing upon the story, which will definitely be nice. I I honestly, my main complaint with the first movie is that it wasn't really a new story. It was like, oh, Bowser's trying to marry Peach. We have because the thing is that was the thing of Mario Odyssey and several other games. So the story was just getting extremely old, I feel like. So I'm really glad that it's going to be something different. Honestly, am I the only one who wishes that there was that in the Mario games they didn't just have Bowser as the main villain? I think he's been a little overdone. Like Mario Bros, no, but I wish we had more characters. Like, there's Wario, there's Waluigi, and there could be other ones. So even though it sounds like, I mean, Bowser Jr. will be the main villain. It sounds like, which is definitely new. We haven't really had a game like that, and we haven't had a movie like that. So I am actually really excited about that. Overall, this movie is shaping up to be a really good movie. I'm really excited to go see it. Me and my friends will be going to see it in the theater on April 4th, actually, that Saturday, and I'm really excited about that. I may make like a impression video after I watched the movie or something. Of course, I won't be able to show any of it because I will get copyrighted, unfortunately. But yeah, I am really excited. I I feel like I'm not as excited as I should be, and I think it just has to do with the state of Nintendo right now. Make sure you go watch that video about the same Nintendo that I did. But I am still very excited, and my excitement level's kind of been getting up as we're getting closer to seeing the movie, excuse me. Uh, One thing I do want to talk about though that has to do with this direct. So Miyamoto at the end said that this is the centerpiece of the 40th anniversary. Now, that extremely worried me, excuse me. Now, on the surface, that may not sound like a bad thing because this is a good movie and everything, but I'm thinking about this as what does it mean for the next 3D Mario? Because we we've been in a severe need for the 3D Mario, and we've all kind of been hoping that this year, maybe this year will just be the year we get it. And that kind of just made it sound like, okay, made me lose hope because apparently this movie is going to be the main event. And you would think Nintendo would market a next big 3D Mario game for the 40th anniversary of Mario. I mean, for Pete's sake, if Nintendo announced the next 3D Mario game back when they first announced the 40th anniversary, this would be the best Mario anniversary ever in the horrid world, y'all. Like, that would be amazing. It would blow the thing out of the water, but they never did do that, and now that they're saying that this movie is, and honestly, y'all, one thing that's become apparent to me is that Nintendo might be focusing on this movie more than they are the games, and they're like, you don't need a 3D Mario, you have a movie. I am extremely disagreeing with that. Nintendo's a game company, and while I like them making movies, if the movie is going to push aside games, then I'm not for it. I don't care if Nintendo just stops doing movies or cancels. For Pete's sake, I would rather Nintendo cancel the Super Mario Galaxy movie than them not release a 3D Mario this year. I'm just going to be honest. While I love the movies, the games are 10 million% more important to me. So, because yeah, that's honestly my stance when it comes to that, which is why I will be extremely mad and honestly depressed if Nintendo doesn't at least give us a little bite of is to come next for 3D Mario or something. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, that was the Mario Galaxy movie trailer 3 slash final trailer. Very exciting. this is gonna be a fun event because I'm an extreme Nintendo fan. Not my all of my friends not are not really big Nintendo fans. A lot of them do have a Switch too, surprisingly. In fact, I was like one of the last ones to get one out of all of them. But we all generally like Nintendo. Some of my friends don't have a Switch and don't necessarily care, but they're still coming. So that will definitely be fun. Getting to experience that in the movie theater. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing anything. Excuse me, anything special since it will be opening weekend. Now that I think about that, so yeah, I'm excited for that. But moving on, we're going to talk about a game that I was pretty excited for, and this also worries me more about we're not getting a direct because Nintendo just dropped a trailer for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. And what this trailer gave us is a release date and some new information. So basically, it shows off Mr. E. That's what the book is. If you're watching this, you'll be able to see the video, but audio listeners, I am showing the trailer right now, so if you want to go back and watch it like that. But basically, in this book, there's different creatures, and Yoshi will like go into the book and like explore these different creatures and will learn different things about them. And then once he does that, he can use them to go to new areas and name them and like feed them an apple and see what happens. So like this one creature here where he learned about it and then it like paints a little thing that he learned about it. So he's like in the book, so he's basically like shaping the book. It's kind of like writing the book. And I honestly I don't know how to feel about this. I genuinely don't know how to feel about this. It's kind of odd. My only problem is, even with this trailer, I still don't know the main point of the game. Because if the only point of the game is to fill in the pages of the book, that would be extremely boring. Now, this could be just like a part of the game, so I really. You know what, Nintendo? You could have given us Nintendo Direct and give us more information, but no! This makes me so upset. So, I am still pretty interested. I'm just a bit weirded out about what the point of the game will be. I just don't want to waste money. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of money right now. That's part of the reason why I haven't been getting all the new games. Because I'm just saving that for games that I really care about or big games. So, but I still do want to get this game. It still does look very interesting. It is 2D, but I also kind of really like the art style. So we'll have to see how this game is. Not sure how much money it will be. I think they may have announced that, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check later. But yeah. Now, they also did give us a release date. It will be releasing on May 21st this year, of course. Thankfully. If it was next year, oh my word. Anyway, this has also dropped my hope level because this is something that Nintendo would have put in a General Direct. In fact, if they had this in a General Direct, they would have probably unveiled so much more than they did. So, unfortunately, this has taken away my hope because they didn't wait till we had a General Direct. And between them saying that the movie will be the main event of the 40th anniversary and then this new trailer giving us a release date, it has really just dropped my hopes of a direct, and I genuinely don't know what Nintendo is doing. Nintendo is, oh my word. I'm not going to even get into it. I made a whole video about this. I'll link it in the description if I remember to. If not, it's on my channel. It's entitled, What is Nintendo Doing Right Now? And it's going over the state of Nintendo. So overall, that's the main gist of it. And Nintendo has to open the floodgates. And I'll just kind of bring up the conversation. We've had a lot of presentations and a lot of games so far this year, and they've all been decent, but a lot of them have been Switch 2 editions or smaller games. And in them themselves, they're not bad, but they're just not what we need right now. That was kind of my main point of the video. Because if we had a lot of big news, then this would just be really nice to have these smaller presentations. But since we don't have that, this is not helping. We need those big presentations. We need that big news announcement. We need 3D Mario. Like, it's not even funny of the state we are in, and fans are delusional. There's a lot of controversy out there right now. But, yeah. And moving on, we also got another overview trailer for Mario Wonder Switch 2 Edition. I was a bit weirded out because I'm like, didn't they already have an overview trailer? But apparently, we are now seeing this again. You audio listeners, I am playing the video up on the screen if you want to go back and watch that. It didn't unveil too much new. It went over a lot of the stuff, but I just made some bullet points of a few things that were new to me or that I didn't notice in the other trailer. First of all, it kind of went over Rosalina a bit more. Let me actually skip to the more interesting parts here in the trailer. Um, so Rosalina, it talked a bit about more Rosalina. Nothing much, it's just Rosalina. She does have all of the other power-ups that all the other ones have. They made that sound like a big deal. I'm like, why wouldn't she be able to use all the other power-ups that all the other characters do? But, you know, okay, So this is mainly with single player content. So not only did we get Rosalina, we also learned a bit more about the 7 Koopa Links that we will be um, fighting and tracking throughout the game. So basically, you have to go by these eyewitness reports and you have to track them down, and then there will be boss battles. There is a demo that I do want to go play, hopefully sometime next week, and I'll make a video about that. They look really cool, although it sounds like a lot of the courses are very small, reused, and nothing much to them. But as you can see here, the boss battles do look really cool. And there is also a new flower power up, which we saw at the end of the last one. So you can shoot flowers up to damage enemies, and you can also use it to jump higher. This actually looks really cool. I really love it. Definitely goes with the vibe of Mario Wonder. There's also double badges, which allows you to have two badges at once. Sometimes it can make it more difficult, sometimes easier. And then there's also Lumas that you can, like, dumb people like your 1 year old can do. Just kidding. Okay, look, if anyone is listening here and has a 1 year old, I'm not trying to offend you. It's just a joke. Anyway, so that's basically all we got, and a lot of the stuff we already knew, honestly. It's just, it was like a slight bit more information. I honestly don't know why they had another one, like, why Nintendo? Anyway, so yeah, that's Mario Wonder Switch 2 Edition. I will not be picking this game up. One of my family members does have Mario Wonder, but not Switch 2 Edition. It's just, I don't feel like spending $70-$80 on a game that's 3 years old, especially when money's tight, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But my argument still holds that this is shaping up to be the best Switch 2 edition so far, in my opinion. So at least there's that. And I believe the price is about $20, which is pretty good. So yeah. And yeah, that does it for our Nintendo news today. And there's just a few Apple things I would like to end off the episode about. And first of all, the MacBook Neo is now available. The beast of machine, and honestly, it is much better than I think anyone thought. There have been new reviews coming out. Let's see, I forgot Saltman. I forgot his full name. Anyways, he did a test on it, looking at how well it will do with professional editing, and we talk about here going into Final Cut Pro with every other app installed in the MacBook Neo still running. he was surprised to smoothly play back a 4K video complete with histograms, vectorscope, and so on. And I've been watching all the content about this new computer, and it is so much more powerful than we ever thought. For me, this would not be able to satisfy my workflows because I need to have multiple windows, multiple tabs, and I edit more advanced. I still wouldn't necessarily recommend this if you're going to get into video editing because it's not going to be too much future proofed. But you can definitely do some video editing, like in LumaFusion or something. This is going to be so good for some people. And like I said, before I was doing YouTube and I did, little private videos and stuff, I would have loved to have this. And this just makes the Air more of a powerhouse now, honestly, now that we have this, because it really just shows off how good that was. Just wanted to touch on that. But then we also have something else. It is now officially Apple's 50th anniversary. Well, it will be on April 1st. Honestly, it's kind of hard to believe that we are at this point. Just reflecting back on all of the products that were released, uh, nothing really special, just a little article that Tim Cook made, kind of reflecting back on everything. Man, it's hard to believe. I mean, it's Mario's 40th anniversary, it's Metroid's 40th anniversary, it's Zelda's 40th anniversary, and it's Apple's 50th anniversary. Where does time go? Of course, I'm not that old, but still, you know, these companies that, they're modern, but it, when I look at my iPhone, I don't think 50-year-old, it just doesn't have that vibe, but it's honestly hard to think. The anniversary technically isn't here. It's on April 1st. Actually, recently discovered that was the anniversary because here's the deal: they always had the date set to April 1st, and it weirded me out because April 1st is April Fool's, and I was like, Apple, why is your date set to April Fool's? But I didn't know that that was the day that Apple was formed slash created or whatever. So, yeah, I I mean, there's nothing really special. It's just kind of crazy reflecting, looking back, and be like, wow, Apple has been around for 50 years. So, yeah, y'all, that about does it for today's podcast episode. I know it was a bit shorter, but like I said in the beginning, we didn't have as much news and topics to go over today. So, anyways, y'all, thanks for listening. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all next week for more Nintendo, Apple, crazy discussions, and news. See you then.